Niche down is one of the most common tips I see given to creators and business owners. But what if you're just getting started, you aren't sure what to pick, or you feel like you have a ton of different ideas you want to explore? I think a lot of traditional advice around niching is either outdated or ineffective. And that's why today I'm excited to share a slightly different approach to help you confidently choose a direction for your channel or your business. Hey, it's Melissa, and welcome back to Wit and Wire, where we help creators turn their skills and passions into profitable online businesses. A key to having a profitable business is getting clear on exactly what it is you do and who you serve. So, although I think a lot of advice around niching isn't quite effective, and I'll talk about my suggested improvements in a second, here is why getting clear and specific is so crucial. First, when you have clarity around what you do, it's much easier for people to look at your business, your channel, or your social media platform and ask themselves, is this for me? And come up with a clear answer. That's really what we're going for. We don't want people to wonder if your channel is right for them. We want them to know instantly that this is a place that they should hang out, that they should come back to, and that you are the right person to fit into their lives. Similarly, another reason why getting specific matters is because it makes you memorable. Think about the way that you may refer a doctor to a friend. If somebody in your life says, "Oh, I need a doctor," you probably have many different recommendations in your head of people that you've gone to in the past. But if someone says, "I need an orthodontist for this type of braces," and if you know somebody, they're going to come to mind right away. And that's the power of getting specific about what you do. You want to be that first go-to person that comes to mind in conversation when your future ideal students, clients, or community members are talking with their peers. The third reason why getting specific matters is because when you are clear about what you do and what you sell, that is what attracts your future buyers. When you confuse people, you lose people. I forget who said it, but it's talked about all the time in digital marketing. So ultimately, getting clear and specific about what you do and who you serve, I think is so important. But with that said, let's get into the reasons why I don't think traditional niche down advice is always helpful. My biggest problem with traditional advice around choosing a niche is that there are two clear directions you could go. You could either choose a niche based on a topic or based on an audience. And I don't think that these are differentiated enough, and here's what I mean. If you want to get more niche by a topic, first let's imagine an overall industry, like fitness. You could get more specific and talk about a topic, like yoga. But yoga alone is not a niche. When you see a lot of traditional advice, they start to bring in a specific person or a specific reason why they're doing yoga. Because yoga for something like hip pain, very different from yoga for new moms or just yoga for day-to-day health and wellness. So you can start to see how who you serve definitely has an impact on the way that you talk about it. But my best advice, if you're just getting started, is not necessarily to choose a niche based on a topic unless you have a very clear sense of what you want to talk about. In that case, you are set. I think that's great. But if you are one of those people who feels like there are so many different topics and interests that you have that you want to share, my best piece of advice is to choose one ideal audience member and to cater all of your content to that person. As one example, I have a Wit and Wire community member who launched a podcast and a business around helping single parents. So the general topic of parenting is very broad. But because she talks to single parents, she can talk about a lot of different things in both her podcast and in her services and her programs. And because she has such a clear person in mind, it's still very easy for other people to recommend her business or her podcast to their peers. That's actually what I did when I started Wit and Wire. Instead of just saying I talked about podcasting, which was the first program and focus I had, I decided that the purpose of my business was to serve online business owners, and specifically people who worked in the knowledge economy, which means that you share your knowledge in some format, whether it's a service or a course. It's not typically a physical product. The thing is, podcasting as a topic could appeal to many audiences. People do comedy podcasts, pop culture, narrative, nonfiction, fiction. There are so many different types of podcasts. So deciding to start a business about podcasting would have been very different from what I did at Wit and Wire, where I started a business that served online business owners. And a big reason why I prefer the audience route is because I started building an email list and online following. And now that I'm talking about course creation and other online business strategies beyond podcasting, all of those still make perfect sense to the email list and social media followings that I've built because they're all a specific person that has shared goals with the other people in my community. Now, on the other hand, if I had started talking about podcasting and I had attracted just anybody who cared about that topic, at some point, it may be difficult for me to pivot or to add in another topic based on my interests because all of those pieces of my audience don't overlap. It could be that only 20% of them are interested in my new offer. And so ultimately, that is why audience building, I think, is the real focus for a new business owner or a new channel. And if you have just one person in mind who is your favorite person to work with, you can start to ask yourself a few questions like, what are they thinking about? And what am I interested in that can serve that person? And to me, that's always going to be more practical than choosing a niche. It's also a little bit more freeing because it means you don't have to be limited by choosing just one topic. So I really enjoy the fact that I can talk about email marketing sometimes. I can share strategies that have worked behind the scenes in my business, a lot of the ops. I can share tech. I can share tools. I can keep talking about podcasting. At the same time, I know that everything I'm doing is for online business owners. And that's why course creation is such a key part of what I talk about, but it doesn't have to be the only thing. Now, if you're still feeling stuck about choosing a direction for your channel or your business, here are a few prompts to help you out. First, imagine you're using your favorite social media platform. Come up with a list of 20 to 30 ideas for different posts. You don't have to create them, and they don't have to be related. I just want you to even set a timer for 2 minutes and see what you come up with. Because after that, you're gonna look and see what themes have emerged. If you have a hard time thinking of even 20 topics that kind of feel related to each other, that could be an indicator that either you just need to do a little bit more brainstorming or your idea might not be broad enough. But generally, if you come up with a list like this, the ideas will start to flow and you may start to notice different categories. That brings up prompt number 2. What are your skills, passions, and accomplishments? These don't just have to be professional accomplishments. They could also be things you've done personally, like run a half marathon or get into a really strong meal prep routine for your family. The next prompt is one of my favorites, and that is to ask yourself, what do people come to you for help with? You could actually ask a few peers, friends, or trusted family members to see what they say, which when I've done that in the past, it's made me feel really good to know how they see me and what they would come to me for help with. But you may start to see these indicators where on your social media account or email list, no matter how small they might feel, you'll start to see the same questions asked over and over. Or maybe you have one product or service that's really getting a lot of attention. Those are clues. So pay attention to what people ask you, because that's a great leading indicator that you're onto something. The fourth prompt is crucial. Who do you enjoy working with, or who would you enjoy being around? When it comes to business, nothing happens by accident. And I definitely don't recommend choosing a topic or an ideal client or student just because they seem like a good idea, because that's the quickest path to burnout if you don't really deeply care about what you do. And I believe that most areas of interest and passion for the business owner have profitable ideas that can serve the right person. And that's why if you think about who you would enjoy working with, that's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you know you serve single parents, or if you know you work with freelance copywriters, you're going to go out there and find them and think of the marketing strategies to reach that person. So as long as there's somebody who has the money and resources to pay for what you're offering, I think many audiences can work. One tip I can offer around choosing an audience is just use words that they actually use to describe themselves. For example, elementary school teachers, first-time parents, freelance copywriters. These are all specific identities that they actually use. And if you can find one of those specific identities that a real human would actually use, it's going to be a lot easier for you to go out and find them. Now, on the other hand, I think just choosing one gender or just choosing an age range is too broad, because women between the ages of 25 and 45 do not have many things in common the way that first grade teachers do. So just try to get a little more specific than a demographic. Think about the identities, either personally or professionally, that they might have. As you start to put some of this together, a key takeaway I want to share is that instead of choosing a niche, you could instead fill in these blanks. I help blank go from blank to blank. By thinking in terms of who you serve and a real problem you can help them solve, now you're starting to position yourself as a go-to person. And that's what people look for. They look for problem solvers. They're looking for answers. And you want to be the answer to their problems. And by the way, nothing about this is permanent. You are allowed to change your mind as a business owner. And too often, I think the fear of making a wrong decision holds us back from starting at all. So what I would challenge you to do is, if you're feeling stuck around the niche for your business or your channel, instead, just think about what you want to do for the next 3 months. Start to put yourself out there. If you can't choose just one topic, instead choose an audience, choose a person that you want to talk to, and see which of your content really resonates. I think 3 months is a nice time frame because it gives you enough time to see if people are interested and if you enjoy talking about it, but it doesn't feel so long or so permanent. Another fear a lot of new business owners and creators have is the fear that someone else has already taken your topic. I know I struggle with this a lot too, but I want you to start seeing competition as a positive. Competition validates demand. It shows that people want that topic, that solution. It shows you that your audience is seeking content. The thing that sets you apart, and really the ultimate niche of all, is just who you are and what you bring to the table. And that's something that you already have. It's not something you earn. You don't need to be a guru. You already have the way that you were brought up, your professional experience. There are so many special things about you, your personality, and your skills that will make you singular in the way that you approach your topic for your person. So just trust the fact that you don't need to come up with a topic that's never been done before. In fact, if you see others doing it, that's a positive sign that there's demand for your interests. It actually took me a long time to realize that what was special about me and my niche is that I do serve course creators, and that my teaching experience at General Assembly and Skillshare, and then my full-time experience working for Ramit Sethi and Teachable, were things that really set me apart from other online business owners. I hadn't just done it myself, although now I've done that as well through Wit & Wire. I've really been in a lot of unique seats in the creator economy industry. So that sets me apart, even though I'm not the only person who talks about online business strategies. I would love to know in the comments, who is your ideal audience? Remember, you don't need a full client avatar. You don't need a lot of fancy research. Just a quick few words about who that ideal person is. I would love to see them in the comments below. And if you found these tips helpful, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up to let YouTube know that great viewers like you are enjoying my content. Make sure you subscribe before you go. And because I know you're interested in choosing a niche and the world of online business, here's another video that I think you'll really love.